No sound again. What is the deal? Hold on. This happened last time. No sound again. Is there like a setting that we are not aware of?
Never had to click it before. Maybe it's just because the Wi-Fi's bad.
I know. I mean, the Wi-Fi's fine for my muffins. Is it reconnecting?
It's reconnected, but people are still saying, okay,
sound.
still no sound.
Still no sound. Hello. Can you read my lips?
Can't hear a thing.
Shoot. Guys, I don't know what to do.
Somebody said it's working on theirs now. Now they hear you.
Hooray! I don't understand.
It's on.
All right. Okay. Yay. Wow. Sorry. Silent pictures. I don't understand what's going on. If anybody happens to know why we're having issues, let me know. My Wi-Fi's been fine all day on my computer, so I don't get it. We turn the Wi-Fi off. Hopefully it's going to work for you. If it doesn't and it starts to cut in and out, please let us know. So what I was saying is that I'm making my chocolate zucchini muffins. Sydney, do you have your phone?
Yeah.
Can I use the cookery app?
You sure can.
Because I don't know my recipes by heart. So while we're waiting for that, I wanted to say thank you for, oh, look at that. It's right there. Right
Favorites.
there. Favorites. I wanted to say thank you to everybody who's gotten a copy of Celebrations. Like I said, which you didn't hear, it has now been out for an entire week, so it's really exciting. There's tons of reviews on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. I have now had 3 book tour stops, so I've gotten to meet a bunch of you already, and I'm heading out to Phoenix to do a talk and a Q&A and a signing in Scottsdale tomorrow. We're doing it at the Williams-Sonoma store in Scottsdale, and they are making 2 recipes from the book, one of which is my absolute favorite for my Christmas fudge. So if you're coming and you got tickets, you're going to get to taste a few things. You're going to get to hear me speak. I'll answer your questions, and I will sign your book. And then from Scottsdale, I'm heading on to Dallas and Austin. So if you're not aware of that and you haven't heard, please make sure to go to my events page on my blog. It's againstallgrain.com/events. And you can find out information on how to get your tickets and everything else. So, all right, so for these, I'm just gonna start a few things, and then I'm actually going to make breakfast sausages. We're gonna try to get a bunch done today because I'm in a rush and I need to get stuff done before I leave. And so I figured, why not let you guys watch it? While I am doing this, if anybody has any questions, let Cindy know. If you have a copy of Celebrations, please let us know in the comments what you are looking forward to most about trying. What's that?
What is our email address?
My 6-year-old is asking what our email address is. I will help you after because I don't know what Daddy has set up for that. Sorry.
But it did this.
Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can fix it, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Any questions? You're so silly. He is trying to FaceTime his grandpa.
No, it's not FaceTime. Call it.
Yeah, buddy, I don't know. Sorry. Dad and you are going to have to work on this together because Mommy is sometimes technologically challenged. I don't know, sweetie. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to look when I'm done, okay? I'll come in as soon as I'm done.
Email?
I don't. I'll come in as soon as I'm done and I will look for you, okay? Questions, Sydney?
Yes.
Before I'm going to start doing this, I'm going to be a little loud while you read.
Emily said she made her chai poached pears.
Yeah.
They were amazing.
Okay.
She said she let the sauce reduce for way longer than 15 minutes, at least an hour.
Okay.
And she said, while it certainly reduced in volume, it never turned syrupy. Any
Okay.
tips?
Did you change any of the sugars that are used, or like the sweeteners that are used? Because that could make a difference. You know, I would just keep letting it go. You may not have had the heat high enough. Could be another issue. But I would just boil it down even further. The other option that I think reducing syrups is a lot easier if you use a skillet. So because it's kind of in more of like a bigger surface. Asher, can you please stop? That's being loud. Okay. Go inside right now, and I will come and help you. You're gonna mess that up if you press that emergency button. So I would suggest you don't touch anything until I'm able to help you. Okay?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Oh, Sydney's phone. This is just gonna be
There you go.
real life, real TV, real live for you guys today because we're not exactly organized. I have been home for about 3 days in between this and the last tour. And so I'm kind of scrambling to get lots of work done and lots of stuff done for the kids before I head out. So sorry.
I have a great question.
Okay.
From Kelsey.
Yes.
She said she's not a fan of lemon in desserts. What
Okay.
is the lemon juice for in the cake recipes?
Oh, so I'm not either. I do have a lemon bar in the book, but I'm not normally a big lemon fan. So the lemon juice actually helps. It reacts with the baking soda, so it's an acidic ingredient that helps make the baking soda bubble even more, and it ends up helping everything rise a little bit more. So you don't taste it; it's a minimal amount. It's a couple teaspoons. You won't taste it at all. I mean, if you have an allergy to it, then that's a little bit different. But you should be fine. I'm going to preheat my oven really quick. If there's any other questions, go ahead. Oh, it's already on. Look at that. Okay. Anything else?
I'm reading.
Oh.
Give me just a sec.
Great. So I'm using my cookery app, like I said, if you don't have it. And I'm going to use 4 eggs.
You have some people wondering where your sweater's from.
Oh, I'll leave a link for it afterwards.
There you go.
Excuse me. Speaking of links, I get a lot of people asking about my tour clothes. So there's a blog post that I did, and we'll leave the link for that too. You can find out where I get everything from, and you can buy it yourself if you want. I also just did a blog post. If you missed it, I posted it about on my Facebook wall, but if you don't see all of my posts, which most of you don't, and you don't get the notifications every time I post, I just posted photos and a recap of my release party, which was really, really fun. And there's also a little thing on there about how to win one of the goodie bags that we had at the party. So make sure you look at that link. We'll leave it in the comments too. Okay, sorry. Anything else? Guys, I'm going to have to keep exiting because I have to get ingredients that I didn't have ready for you because this was a last minute decision to make all of this. So I'm not very set up.
Some people are wondering if you have any tips on eating while traveling.
Yeah, so bringing snacks is huge. I have a few blog posts about this actually. So again, we will leave those links for you below. But that was maple syrup, half a cup of maple syrup. Applesauce.
There's some in the fridge as well. Oh, are you using the small ones?
Yeah, but if there's some in the fridge, we'll use it before it goes bad. Okay, so traveling.
I'll get it.
Thanks. So these, my saving grace in the kitchen. Traveling. I suggest bringing snacks. I also suggest taking to Yelp and getting, going to places that have good reviews, that are known for using good quality, locally sourced organic ingredients. And then I just typically like to make substitutions. So I think that's kind of the best bet. But I would read those articles, and then when I'm on tour, if you come to one of my book tour stops, I can elaborate on that a little bit more. I love to be able to answer those types of questions. Anything else? Okay. So I need a 1/4 cup of applesauce. I'm just going to eyeball it.
Heather said her pancakes are often thin. Do you have any tips on how to thicken them up?
It depends which recipe, Heather, because I have probably 10 different pancake recipes. So if you can comment and let us know which recipe you're talking about, then I should be able to help you. Okay, and then I need coconut flour. If you're not familiar with coconut flour, it's dehydrated coconut meat. It's extremely absorbent. So typically I don't call for too much. These muffins are nut-free. They're my kids' favorite in the morning, especially when I'm traveling, when Dad doesn't have time to make them breakfast. So we pull these out, and they're high in fiber from the coconut, and they have protein and the vegetables from the zucchini. So I love when they eat them. You can go down a little bit on the sweetener too if you like. And then arrowroot powder. And I'm doing this all today just in the food processor for ease. I'm just going to throw it all in and whiz it all out because I want to try to make things faster.
Everyone's saying they're loving the real life.
Oh, good. This is what it actually looks like in my kitchen, except for I'm adding the part of trying to talk to you guys and answer your questions while doing it. So, and telling my 6-year-old that I don't know his email address.
Samantha wants to know, for the ribs in celebrations, do you have any tips or a suggestion for lessening the spice when making it for kids?
Oh yeah, so they're really not spicy at all. They're not. I think it depends on your chili powder. But you can cut down on the chili powder, or you can there's like different types of chili powder. This is nutmeg. Again, I'm kind of just eyeballing this, but you want 1/4 teaspoon of each. Nope, 3/4. I really don't find them to be spicy. My kids don't find them to be spicy either, but if you're having spice, then yeah, cut down on the chili powder or the cayenne. I think there's cayenne in those. That's probably your best bet. I know I did them on the Today Show, which again, if you guys missed that, we will be doing a recap soon of all of the TV stuff that I got to do in New York and share my book. But then also I'll leave a link. But I did the ribs on the Today Show if you missed it. And they said they were spicy too. I think it just depends, again, it's like it depends on your seasoning. So you want just like a red chili powder rather than some of the ones out there that are like really, really hot. Okay, anything else?
Yeah.
I'm putting in 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, by the way.
Awesome. Kayla's wondering if the dough from the caramel pecan sticky buns would work in place of the cinnamon roll dough.
Yeah, there's a note in the book about it, about how to substitute them out. Okay, and then just a little bit of salt, and I'm going to whiz this up and add in my zucchini. There's no coconut oil or anything in this one, right? No? Okay. Just making sure. Anything else?
Megan wants to know your thoughts on coconut. Is it considered a tree nut or is it tree nut free?
Technically, it's tree nut free. But again, if you have serious tree nut allergies, I always suggest checking with your allergist. But it is technically a drupe. So again, it just depends how sensitive you are. I think you should, if you have serious allergies, you should always get tested. Make sure that you don't have an allergy to it. But for the most part, what I've been hearing, and I've been doing this now for 7 or 8 years, most of my readers are not allergic to coconut that are allergic to tree nuts. So again, I don't, do what works best for you. These are silicone muffin molds. I love them. You can find them on my shop page of my blog, or again, we'll leave a link for you. But they're great. And one trick that I realized is make sure you put them onto a baking sheet before you fill them, because once you fill them with liquid, they're fairly hard to lift up and put on a tray, especially if you're doing something like bone broth, which is what I freeze. I use these to freeze my bone broth, so make sure that you put them on a tray. And then even though they come right out, I still like to bake them in these parchment cups. Not only do I find that the parchment cups help kind of absorb some of the moisture, especially because I freeze these usually, but they're just easier to kind of hand to a little one and have them sit at the table or eat in the car, which we often do. And these ones are great because you don't lose any of the muffin or cupcake when these come off. They peel right off and you're not stuck like licking the paper, which we all remember doing as kids.
Someone's wondering what the arrowroot in this recipe does.
So the arrowroot helps with the texture. Because I kept these nut free, I wanted to do 2 different flours essentially, which is the coconut and the arrowroot, just to help the texture. So it helps make them a little bit more cakey. It helps make them a little less crumbly. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. So arrowroot, if you're not familiar with it, is kind of used as almost like a cornstarch substitute. But it helps make baked goods, especially paleo type baked goods, a little bit more kind of springy, a little bit more pliable. So I'm adding in my 3/4 cup of zucchini. I'm just going to mix that in by hand. I'm going to add a few chocolate chips because my boys like that.
Some people are wondering if they're going to your book signings,
Yeah.
can they bring their old, or not old,
Good question.
they're wonderful, the other 2 copies of your books?
That's a great question. I feel like I've been shouting it from the rooftops, but with social media these days, you guys don't always hear everything that I tell you, which brings me to a point of make sure that you're on my mailing list. I have an email that goes out. It only goes out once a week, but it has all of my important information in it, which you won't miss anything. So please make sure you're on that. You just click the free recipes by email button on againstallgrain.com. But back to that question. Yes, absolutely. Please bring your copies of my previous books. So Against All Grain and Meals Made Simple. I am happy to sign as many copies as you'd like. A lady at my release party was so sweet. She said she cleared out Costco because they were $19.99, and she brought 12 copies of my books for me to sign as gifts, which is amazing. And I'm honored that you guys think that my books are special enough to give away as gifts. Seriously. But yes, so bring them. So most of the stores require you to purchase at least one copy to be there. And not only does that help support the small bookstores, you guys, I mean, bookstores are becoming a thing of the past, and it's really sad, especially for authors and somebody like me who used to just love to go to a bookstore, and I'd sit and peruse for a while and then always leave with something. But my husband and I, we always finished our dates at Barnes & Noble. It just was a thing that we loved to do, and so I'm so sad to see so many of them closing. And so us as authors doing events at these bookstores actually really helps them stay in business because they otherwise don't get that much traffic in their stores. And so to be able to continue doing a book tour and to be able to support the stores, buy one copy and then feel free to bring your other ones in. That was a very long answer for a very quick question, but I felt like I needed to explain it.
Could you make these muffins in a KitchenAid or a high-speed blender, or is the food processor the best?
Food processor isn't even necessary. You could mix it by hand, to be honest with you. Because I was shredding my zucchini in the food processor, I just kept it all in one bowl so that I didn't have to wash anything. So yeah, you can totally do it in whatever you'd like. And you can also add other veggies in here if you want, like some carrots would be really yummy. Yeah, kind of whatever you have. But yes, absolutely, any machine that you have should be just fine. The biggest thing I would say, and you might have noticed I kind of let it sit in the food processor for a little while after I mixed it. The only thing I would say is just give it some time to rest because the coconut flour needs a little bit of time to start absorbing some of the moisture. Any other questions?
Not
All right.
quite yet.
So, first of all, I already told you about my Scottsdale signing. I'm also visiting a Williams-Sonoma in Costa Mesa and in Pasadena. And so they're going to be doing the same thing. So they're so sweet. They prepare 2 of the dishes from the book, which I love because it's so fun to have you guys get to try things, especially while you're waiting in the signing line or while I'm speaking. So they're, like I mentioned, they are doing the Christmas Fudge, which that recipe is one of my favorites. I tell a story in the book, which if you haven't had a chance to really look through it yet, pretty much every recipe has a story above the recipe about just where the recipe came from, what it means to me, how I came about creating it. And the fudge was something that my mom's mom made and my mom, carried on every single Christmas. And it, required a candy thermometer, and you'd have to watch it to make sure the chocolate didn't seize and everything. And this one is so simple. And I absolutely love the texture, and we've kind of been serving it at every event that we've had so far, and it's been just really fun. So excited for you guys to get to try that. And then I just get to share at each signing my story, not only my health story, but then just kind of, what made me inspired to create celebrations and what about the book I love. And then my favorite part is just answering your questions. So I answer people's questions about anything from my health journey to ingredient substitutions, to what my kids eat, so really it's pretty much open. And then I get to hear your stories. So I just did a post, I'm gonna pop these in the oven. I just did a post on my blog about my release party, and I highlighted some of my favorite stories, and I've already heard so many incredible stories along this tour. It never gets old. I always tell people, never ceases to amaze me the amount of ailments or issues that people are starting to use a grain-free and dairy-free diet for, or just even gluten-free. So just at that party alone, I had somebody that had infertility struggles for years and years and started eating a grain-free diet and was able to get pregnant, which is amazing. People that were using this diet to help heal their children's guts that have autism, and people with diabetes and Crohn's disease, and it's just amazing. And I absolutely love to hear the stories in person. We get lots of emails and lots of comments, but when you come up to the table to get your book signed and you share with me why you're eating this way and what my recipes mean to you and how they've been included in your life and your family's life, it's the most amazing and most humbling and joyful thing for me ever. So, so that's why I love going on tour. Hold on just a second.
While you're over there, I'll ask
Yes.
another question. Someone's wondering, they said they noticed in some recipes you say to let the batter, if it has coconut flour in it, rest
Yes.
before you bake it. Why do you do that with some and not with others?
It just depends. You can always let it rest, but it depends on what the recipe is. I have tested them all, and so I usually just say it when I think it needs it. If the process takes a little bit longer and you've already mixed the coconut flour in and then you're doing something else, I just don't include letting it rest because it's just naturally resting as part of the recipe. So it just really depends. But if you notice that your batter is too thin, you can always just let it rest for a few minutes and it'll start to soak up all of that moisture. So I'm going to just wash this food processor out really quickly, and then I'm going to make my sausages. And I don't think I'm going to get to that applesauce because there's just not enough time, and I don't want to make you guys sit here forever. And I'm also not really doing a very good job washing because it doesn't really matter. My goal is to use the least amount of dishes possible. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just going to kind of reuse. Okay, any other questions? I wanted to tell you guys a couple things too about the tour. So you've probably already seen it, but I have started posting every couple days. Well, right before I go to a new city, I'll be posting a graphic essentially. So either a photo or a video, and it will say, I'm coming to Austin or Phoenix or whatever. And for anybody that shares that photo, you're going to be entered in for a chance to win a really great prize. The last couple days, I was giving away signed copies of all 3 of my books for sharing. So if you missed that chance, you can still go back. Just go to my Facebook page and find those two different ones. There's one for Phoenix, one for Dallas. You can share those, and you can tag a friend, and then you're entered to win signed copies of all 3 of my books. I will also be doing a really awesome grand prize giveaway at the end of my tour for anybody that attends and uses my hashtags, which is Celebrations Cookbook and AAG Tour. So I haven't announced what the prize is yet, but it's really great. So just stay tuned for that. And then every single person that comes to my book signing, one person is randomly going to be selected to win my custom, I don't have it out here, but my custom Shun Celebrations knife. So it's a little smaller than this one, but it's my favorite knife, and it says Against All Grain Celebrations. Well, Danielle Walker's Against All Grain Celebrations. So I have one knife for each event. So make sure that you come to my book signing, and you might be going home with that knife, which is really exciting. And gosh, I feel like there's more to tell you guys. Oh, I know. If you ordered my book from Amazon or from Barnes & Noble or from Target, I would really, really appreciate book reviews, especially if you've now had a chance to cook from it. People really love to hear from the readers if they like it or not, and that's what helps them have confidence in buying it and know if they'd like it in their own kitchen. And so if you cook from it and you have a review that you'd like to leave, I'd really appreciate it. But again, you can leave it on any of those. Bless you.
Thank you.
We'll leave the links so that they're easier to find. But I would really appreciate it. It's super helpful as an author to not only have feedback for me, but again, for people that are maybe coming across the book and just are not familiar with it and might be wondering, if it works for them. And, people come across that book just because, like if, for instance, it was ranked up in the top 20 or 30 on Amazon of all books. And I think that's amazing because somebody who might just be scrolling through looking for a coloring book or devotional or something like that might scroll past it, and they may have a health problem and they may not know that eating this way could help. And so if they just stumble upon it and they're able to get well through that, then I think that's amazing. By the way, I just used up the last of my Primal Palate breakfast blend. It's one of my favorite things to put in breakfast sausages. I didn't really have enough for this, so I'm going to kind of use some of this and then also use my recipe from my first book of my maple sage sausage. So I just kind of wing it, but this is 2 pounds ground pork. You could use chicken, turkey if you'd like as well, and then just a little bit of maple syrup. Any questions, Sid?
Not any questions.
Okay.
Someone named Kate Cole
Yes.
commented, and I believe it is either their son or daughter. And they said, "I'm 6 years old and I cook your recipes with my
Aw.
mom and dad all the time. They are great."
So cute. Thank you. That's awesome. I can't find seasonings that I'm looking for. So again, I'm gonna wing it. Just gonna put a little bit of cinnamon and nutmeg in because I like that in sausage. If you're doing this, I suggest following the recipe from my book because you won't end up with gross sausage. I don't know how these are gonna turn out, but I think they'll be okay.
Lisa wants to know why you call for light-colored honey.
Oh, in celebrations. So first of all, I do have to say a lot of these questions are already answered for you guys. In the ingredient glossary, please, if you can, read the beginning of celebrations because there's a lot of information in there that I wanted to make sure you guys had at your fingertips to make everything easier. So give that a full read through. It's not just filler information. But I call for light-colored honey in these recipes, mostly for color, but also for taste. Light-colored honey will make your cakes a lot more white-colored. It'll also not be an overpowering honey flavor. Some honeys can, like especially wildflower honeys, can be really intense in flavor, which is fine, but I'm really trying to make things taste and appear and have the texture of kind of your standard cakes and cookies and things like that. A food processor. So I make my sausage in a food processor not only because it's easier for cleanup, I think, but because sometimes the ground pork can have kind of like big fat nodules in them, and they don't always melt off during the cooking process. Totally gross. And so I like to break them down in the food processor, and it just ends up making kind of more of a easily chewable sausage, which for my little guy I like, and he's not crunching into anything. All right. Any other questions? So I wanted to tell you guys, and I forgot to tell you, but I love giving stuff away because it's fun. And so if you share this video right now, click share, and then make sure you leave a comment. It doesn't matter what you say. Tell me what city you're coming to visit me in, and tell me what recipe you're looking forward to most in celebrations, or just say hi, whatever you want to say. But make sure you hit the share button and hit the like button. So those are the three things. Share this post, hit the like button, and comment below, and you have a chance to win a signed copy of each of my books, all 3 books, and I'm going to do that for 2 people. So,
should they set the share video to share public or share to just their friends?
Absolutely, share publicly. Unfortunately it's the only way we can see stuff. It won't make the rest of your profile public, so don't be concerned about that. But it will make it viewable for us, which is important for us to be able to tally your entry. Thank you for that question, Sydney.
You're welcome.
Okay, so in the olden days, before I got too busy, I would pan fry these sausages because it gives them like a really nice, I've got sausage hands, it gives them a really nice crust. And, but I don't have time for that, so I've been baking them lately, which works out really well. So I'm just gonna grease this pan with a little bit of ghee. There's enough fat in here that there ends up being quite a bit of fat on the bottom of the tray, so they shouldn't stick too much, but ghee gives them a little bit of a flavor and also helps them brown. Any other questions while I start forming these? And then I won't make you guys sit and watch this too much longer. What time is it?
4:30.
Okay, we're doing good. We usually go about 30 to 40 minutes. Are there any other questions? And is there anything else I wanted to tell you about? Oh, I know. Sorry guys, I'm all over the place right now. Seriously, it's been a little crazy. I was gone for 5 or 6 days in Boston and New York, and then home for 3 days and had this release party and a signing in Corte Madera. And now I'm thinking about making food for my family again and packing and getting off to Scottsdale. So my brain is a little bit scattered. And I'm also low on sleep. Easton has not been sleeping well this week. So what I was going to tell you was that in that front matter of celebrations, if you haven't read it yet, you probably missed it, but there's Nutritional Facts. We contracted a nutritionist out for this book, and she analyzed every single recipe because I had heard from a lot of you guys that you do need to count your macros or you need to count your carbs, specifically, diabetics. So I wanted to make sure that that information was available to you, but it was too big to include in the book because there's over 125 recipes. And so we did it as a PDF that you can download from my website. So those of you that want it, you can get it. Those of you who don't care, don't need to worry about it, but the link is in the book, and so you just type that link in and you can download those nutritional facts for free. And on that same topic, I also created 4 Thanksgiving leftover recipes. So there's the whole Thanksgiving chapter, which I know you Canadians are going to be celebrating Thanksgiving here in about a week. And so everybody always kind of wonders what to do with their leftovers rather than just eating the same plate over and over again. So I did 4 Thanksgiving leftover recipes that are also in a downloadable PDF. Those should be available on Saturday. So make sure that you check that link on Saturday and you can download it. Okay, anything else? Okay, well then while I'm doing these, I'll also tell you that in celebrations, in case you haven't seen it, because I've had people ask, I categorized all the recipes in the back. There's a table, and it tells you whether things are egg-free, nut-free, SCD and GAPS, or nightshade-free. So if you missed that, you can find that back there too.
A few questions.
Yeah.
How do you store the breakfast sausage, and how long do you bake them?
Okay, so because I just have been kind of like randomly baking them, I'm not completely sure. 350 degrees, and I think they took like 20 to 30 minutes last time. I'm looking at Sydney because I think she was the one that helped me with them, or made them last time. So, and then I have been storing some in the fridge. Both of my kids really like them, so we can go through, and I actually really like them for breakfast. So we can go through like a dozen within a few days. So I store some in the fridge, and then the rest I store in the freezer. So I pull them out, and I usually like to let them defrost for about a day in the fridge, and then I just reheat them either in a skillet or on the stovetop, or in an oven. If you're doing a few, you can kind of just put them back in the oven just to reheat them ever so slightly. I think I'm going to have a visitor coming in here in a minute. You can see him peering through the window. Anything else? No, I think you said a couple questions.
Oh, those were the couple.
Oh, okay. Great. What else, guys? Anything else? How was your weekend? How's your week been? Yeah, almost. Thank you.
You know if Grandy or Nanny comes over today
Yeah, sure.
for like dinner or something?
Now my 6-year-old is inviting dinner guests.
What? They have box tops.
Yeah, they can come over for dinner. Absolutely.
Okay.
Are you gonna call him?
No, I already called her. You don't care if I left them home.
Tell them it's okay if they come over for dinner. Grandparents, of course. My gosh, I have to say, I mean, a 6-year-old using FaceTime on the family shared iPad, and now a family shared phone that he gets to use when he's at home, which I'm not sure how I feel about that yet. But it's good and bad. I love that he can call his grandparents. I think that's so sweet, and they now live so close. So apparently we're going to be having dinner, which hopefully they're bringing dinner, because I'm not making it. Unless we're going to be eating sausages and zucchini chocolate muffins. Anything else?
Melissa says you're such a good mama.
Oh, thank you, Melissa. Oh, the pictures of my little guys at my party, like, just melted my heart. They were so good. I was so worried about them being there because I was stuck behind a table for a few hours, and normally they're not with me, which I love having them there, but I wasn't sure how they were going to be with me kind of being, like, preoccupied. But they were so cute, and all the kids there were so adorable. They just played games out on the lawn the entire time. It was like a really good old-fashioned party with no TV and no video games, and it was just really sweet. So they did amazing, and the pictures that the photographer Shannon captured of them and my family and everybody else was so amazing. I did a little instant snap. This is like a little mini sausage. I did a little instant snap today because I was looking at the photos for the first time. And so I was set up at a table with the line of people, and then after they got their book signed, they went into the restaurant. So I wasn't able to really see what happened after people got their book signed. And there's photos of people sitting at the tables, I mean, hundreds of people sitting at the tables, flipping through each and every page after they got it signed. They didn't wait till they got home. They sat down with a glass of wine or whatever, and they looked through everything, and their faces, it made me cry. I literally was on Instagram crying. Their faces as they were looking through the pictures and the recipes is exactly why I wrote this book. It just made me so happy to see the response and like to actually see it in person. I've gotten to hear from some of you now, which again, that's why those reviews are so important for me to read. But if you guys haven't, go on the blog and look. I'm going to wash my hands, and then I'm going to put these in the oven. And then again, if you join late, make sure that you...
We don't have box tops. Here.
Okay.
And the bunny things, there are somebody that made bunny stuff.
Perfect. Go grab it.
So maybe they're on the bunny.
Maybe. Okay. So I paused my thought there, but my son brought home a thing from school about collecting box tops. And I had never thought of it before, but I was like, oh gosh, I don't know that we'll have any box tops because we don't really buy a lot of the processed, crackers and cereals and stuff. So he's like calling everybody we know to see if he can collect them because I feel bad that we don't have them. And if not, I'm going to go to the store and buy some and take the box tops and then donate the food because I want him to be able to donate to his school. So I don't remember what I was saying because I got interrupted and that's just my brain right now, scattered mom brain. But hopefully you guys give the muffins a try. They're not only on my app, but they're also on my website, so we'll leave that link. Again, these sausages, or a variation of, are in my first book, Against All Grain, in the breakfast section. It's the red shirt, in case you're not sure which one's which. And I think that's it. I think I've answered everything. So I will be coming live from my tour. It's really fun to just kind of click on. I came to you guys from a train last week. I came to you not from a plane because I didn't have enough Wi-Fi, but it's just fun to just pop on. So make sure that you click your notifications so that you know every time I'm live and you don't miss it. And again, if you join, that's what I was about to say, if you join late, click the share button, click the like button, and comment below. Public. If you're doing the share, when you share the post, make sure you make it public because otherwise we won't be able to track it. It won't make your profile public. It'll only make that one share public. So yeah, that's it. We will go and choose a winner tomorrow morning. I'll go on and choose a winner so that if people are watching this late, they can still have a chance to share, like, and comment. And like I said, 2 people are winning 3 copies that are signed, 1 of each of my books, Against All Grain, Meals Made Simple, and Now Celebrations. Okay, you guys, thanks so much for joining me. Sorry for the craziness. This is real life, and I'm glad that you